nursing Mama, aren't we? We nursing Mama. Mama's good. Mama is very good. Okay, so you can see we've got it a little bit open. She started opening this one anyway, and there is an eyeball, but she's very swollen. This one, if she will let me see it, I know, baby, still a little bit tight. So we're gonna keep working with what we're doing and put her down in her little box and let her rest. It is a second cup of coffee type of morning. Good morning. Welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. So I'm going to be in an incognito baseball cap. Whew. This hair was doing something crazy today, y'all. We ain't even going to try to talk about it. But listen, I want to talk to you about what is going on with a few decisions that I've made here going forth with our renovation and the direction that I have changed up a little bit for our homestead, and I think it's one that you need to consider too. First of all, I started taking these things this last week. You've seen this. This is even at department stores. Like, what in the world? Y'all, I went to the mall for the first time 2 days ago, this last Friday, because I had to shop for my boy for a singing competition. Looking snazzy there, Mr. Bo. But he was in a state competition. So we'll find out how he did in about a week, because it has to be pre-recorded and then sent in. It's not, when I used to do singing competitions a long time ago, we'll talk about that on another video. A lot of competitions and, didn't do too bad. But it had to be recorded. But we were walking through Belk. Was it Belk or Dillard's? And they had these. I was like, get out. James was like, you are so trendy. I'm like, I know. So I've started taking these because I was curious about them. And I'll let you know what I think. I'm not going to have any input yet because it's only a weekend. I take 2 a day. I don't know. We'll find out. But we're changing up some things here in the kitchen. And some decisions have been flipped around by me. And I'm telling you right now, do you know exactly what caused it? Texas. Hey, girlfriend, you gonna tell everybody that we got one eye open yesterday? Very good. Need to clean out her pad and give her some more feed. But Miss Loosey Goosey here, she is doing mighty fine, y'all. Everything we're doing is working, and we're just gonna stay the course. So, I never want my channel to be like doomsday and scare you to death and all of that sort of stuff. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that if you've watched our channel for the past 7 years, y'all guys, whatever. The whole point of what we do is to get back to our roots, learn to be as self-reliant as we can as we go, and teach our kids. That is exactly the goal of everything that we do here. And we just take you along for our journey. So as you know, we have a lot of new subscribers, a ton, because I've gotten some questions over the weekend and some comments on Facebook, and I thought, y'all, you got to be new people, because cooking with wood heat is nothing new for this girl. So I guess I just told you what we were doing, right? So here's the deal. So we are renovating our kitchen. We're renovating the downstairs. In fact, I'm going today and going to be getting more paint to paint. So we're making all of these decisions. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I hate glass top stoves. Okay. This came with the house when we bought it. Last year, when I replaced my stove, I replaced it with a glass top. The reason I don't like them personally is I don't like to clean them, but that's not such a big deal. But it really limits you on canning. Now, I have done water bath. If you've done pressure and you got away with it, good on you. I'm not that bold. I take my pressure canning back old school with a good old eye. In fact, I even have done it on open fire, and I have also done it on a turkey fryer. That is an option for you. So if you're going to be canning this year, if you can find those canning lids. And by the way, I have a video coming up on that, something you need to pay attention to. Hopefully it'll be out this week. But this is what I've got. Now, it's a good stove. This thing is probably 20 years old. It came with the house. I'm not complaining. I'm thankful for what I've got, okay? Understand that. But here's what I was going to do. Girlfriend was going to change it up and get a gas stove. Man, I was on fire. Well, I don't know what planet you live on. I live in the planet of I can't believe how everything is so blame expensive. And so working with a budget and trying to be smart as I go, I took my time on that. But I did do my homework. So I picked out a couple of different gas stoves that we liked. And I'm going to be honest with you, some we found on sale, some weren't. You're going to be looking at somewhere in the ballpark, expect somewhere, anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 up to $3,000. I mean, you can just keep going with these stoves. Now, an oven and a stove is a very important asset to a home. So I'm not saying that they're not necessarily worth that, but that's a little steep because you keep going back to the idea of, even my daddy told me, he said, Patara, I know it's a little bit older, but honey, it works. Well, I'm a little stubborn and I kept going with it. So I did at least do my homework. So I got a quote from the gentlemen who are about to show up here in a few minutes to work on my basement. They gave me a quote on running a line to get for a tank. We also called the company about getting a tank. Here's our prices. Had to take a sip on that one. Okay, so we were quoted to run the copper line to make it out to where I wanted my tank, which is not that far from the house, $1,700. Okay. Tank. Now I'm going big school. I didn't have to go with the 500. I told James, I said, quote me a 500. He's got 250 or 500. I said, go ahead and do the 500. I said, because I cook a lot, even though I won't use that much in a year. Come on. Go ahead and do it. You know how much a new tank is? $1,800. So I've been chewing on that. And yes, you're seeing Katniss flip around out there. She is, by the way, I think we're going to the barn today. That's coming up too. I think we are. But long story short, so I have just sort of put it off and said, I'm not going to make these decisions until I finish my cabinets, I get a countertop, or what are we doing? I'm just going to work through it for the next couple of months. Don't make a sudden decision, just see where it leads me. Well, then you know what happened? Texas. Now, here's what you don't know. This is where things have gotten switched around. This is the direction I have switched. I wanted a wood cook stove. We do have a fireplace, and we also have downstairs a chimney. I have a grill. I have a cowboy grill. I have cooked in every single scenario you can cook with in terms of heat. Camping style, cowboy grill, open hearth, you name it, I've done it. If you've been watching my videos the last 5 to 7 years, you know that I absolutely have done it, do it, can do it, love it. So here's the thing. I told James not too long ago, I said, I want a wood cook stove. But I want to put it, if we do it, we've talked about enclosing this little patio out here. Nothing major, nothing mega, but we're going to enclose it and make it a bigger seating area for eating and a welcoming area, and that would be the perfect spot. Oh. Well, I don't mean to ruffle your feathers, but have you looked at the prices of building materials? They're going up and up. I can tell you alone right now that gas prices have gone up since November, almost $1 in East Tennessee. I have pictures of it, have proof. So that started getting me thinking about the price for this gas stove here that I was thinking about getting. And that may come down the road, okay? I'm just saying, what are we doing right now and what's the smart decision? So my point is I have lived off propane in my other home, and I loved that home, but I did live off propane, got sticker shocked when propane $4 a gallon a couple years ago. It's gone way down in recent years, like $1.59, $1.69, $1.89, something like that, somewhere in that range. So it was very feasible for a family, especially here in East Tennessee, to live off propane because you could get a fill up once or twice a year. kind of keep it going, work with what you got. We worked with wood heat too, so it was pretty affordable, but only in recent years. Several years ago, not so much. So here's what I'm doing. Well, I've come to the realization that this room out here may take me several years to get to, if I ever get to it at all. But wood heat is important. I was going to build a greenhouse this year. That was Patara's main project because, like I said, when you move to a homestead, when you move to a new home, doesn't even have to be a homestead. You move to a new home. The first year or two that you're there, especially if you're moving in, you're settling in, you're changing a few things, you need to take your time to make your decisions. Well, it is critical to me in our family that we are able to be as self-sufficient as possible. And to be honest with you, I feel a very big push, and especially seeing how everything went down in the last 2 weeks or so with Texas. Guys, you should be very concerned about all the things that we are seeing in terms of energy, food, self-reliance, all of these things. It's a very stressful topic, and we can go 100 directions with it. All we can do is pull back and say, Lord, take a deep breath like you told me to, y'all, and say, what do I need to do for us that makes the most sense to ensure that our home is as safe and as warm and as self-reliant as we can make it? Well, that's coming into play. So today, I've already contacted the gentleman. We've talked several times over the last couple of weeks. I called again last week, talked with James. I said, listen, we need to make a decision here. And James was like, absolutely right. So we looked at a couple of models that we like, called back, just making sure, will it fit in this area? Because I'm not waiting. It's critical that you can do all that you can and make good decisions for your family. So you're going to be seeing, in the next couple of weeks, it's going to be in April that we get our wood cook stove. And I'm very, very excited about that. I've had my gentlemen that are helping us out with a few projects here at the home. They've looked at the area. They've looked up in the attic. So we know it will fit here. This is all going to go. It's going to go. So this is what we're going to do. So what I'm telling you is I've decided to put off the idea of a high tunnel or a greenhouse this year. I've grown seeds indoors for years. I've worked with things outside. I may work with a few little small things this year, but first and foremost, I want that stove right there. Not only that, but here's the thing, a wood cook stove. Now this does not have anything to do with the actual energy that it's going to take to have the wood to put into the stove. You have to have good, reliable sources of wood every year. Fortunately, we do. And fortunately, I already have a wood splitter. See, again, we're not new to the rodeo here. So we already have a wood splitter. So that does work for us. Our anniversary present to each other about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, was a wood splitter. We are so romantic, me and that man of mine. But this is what I want you to know, and I want you to understand. And I talked to the guys at the that we were buying the wood stove from, the gentleman, and it is bona fide fact. He said there's a lot of different brands that you can't even get in right now. The waiting list is 4 to 6 months. He said not only that, you are looking at price increases. He said by middle of March, especially for us, with another run coming in with what we offer, he said, you're going to be looking at a price increase. He said, that's not a sales pitch. He said, I'm just telling you right now. I'm telling you what I'm telling you today as far as how much this is going to cost for you or what you're going to have to do versus if you wait till March 16th or St. Patrick's Day, whatever, you're going to see a higher price. Why? Well, our first question was, we just sort of looked at each other and we said, hey, we know we've moved and done all kinds of things in the last year. Is it because of COVID? And he said, no, not really. He said, you're looking at price increases because of policy. And so therefore, when this happens, this causes a lot of different materials and a lot of different things to go up in price. And I looked at my husband and he looked at me and we had our aha moment. So do I know what's happening in the near future? No. Am I trying to scare you into buying things and doing things and being a crazy prepper and all of the things that we always get accused of, because we want to do as best we can in terms of saying, you know what, my home is safer, my home is warmer, we're learning more skills, my children are learning more skills. Folks, we have to do the things that we have to do in order to stay on track. And a lot of the time, we have to understand that some things just aren't progress. So let me show you a little bit of cute redneckery. I'm kind of playing with Post-it notes from this corner over to here and down and da-da-da-da-da-da-da on where I'm going to place it and how big it is. I will tell you that I am getting a Grand Comfort series. If you want to look that up, there are some YouTube videos on that. That is the one that we have always really looked at. I'm looking at the 550, if you want to know which one I'm looking at. And that's due to size. What do I need? I mean, that alone heats a 2,000 square foot home. So we're, as far as heat, that's going to be awesome. It's a beautiful stove, just rave reviews. So it's a little bit smaller than the bigger one, which if, check that out, the Grand Comfort series. And we are going through our wonderful gentleman who has always come to the Great Appalachian Homesteading Conference and set up. So if you've been coming to our conference for the last several years, we've had wood cook stoves there for you and someone who can talk to you about them and all of that, because I feel that wood heat and what Granny did is fundamental in every home and should be a priority, especially now. So that is the decision that I've made. I have decided to not go with a gas stove for now. I'm going to work what I've got that's already tried and true and paid for my basic home, basic home cooking. And when it's 97,000 degrees in July, yes, I will use that. I've got it as a, that's my main source. This is my main gig, okay? But to have a wood stove that you're probably going to use about 8 months out of the year, and that you always have as a good old backup, and something that you can have to teach others with, teach your children with, maybe someday teach a couple of great grandbabies with if I'm lucky, then that's what matters to me. So you have to do what works for you. You have to work with what makes sense. It just doesn't make sense that this first year, hardcore into transforming our home, really trying to make it, pushing forth on the self-sufficiency, that I do a high tunnel yet. It's coming. Or a greenhouse yet. It's coming. I just feel that I'm really being led in this direction. And I think I'm going to really love it. I'm really excited. And I think you're going to be excited too. So that's what we're doing. But here's what I'm telling you. You really need to sit down and look and evaluate all that we've been through the last year. With COVID, politics, religion, and her, and then everything that we just saw that hit Texas and the Midwest and whatnot. Folks, we've got to make all of these things priority one and take back control to take care of ourselves and our family and our neighbors. And that's what I'm doing. And I know this is the right direction, and I'm excited. All right, guys, my guys are going to be here in just a few minutes. We're going to hopefully finish up this kitchen, some of these kitchen things, and especially the basement here in the next few days. And we're just moving. I feel positive, and I thank you for joining me on my journey. Thank you for all that you've done for our family. We just love you. Lots of good videos coming up. I told Gabriel, I said, you better get ready, boy. We're about to hit some more videos. And he said, let's do it. Guys, y'all been so good to my boy. Thank you so much. All right, I will keep you posted on the stove. My husband just contacted me. He said, have you got everything ready to send off today to make sure that we get it? We'll see what April brings. Showers and flowers and wood stoves. Guys, we'll see you on the next video.